What it is, what it do, and how the hell are all of you? It's yours truly, Petra. Fucker, back with another mother lover. You already know the deal. Grab your smoke, grab your drink, and lock with your boy, because we back with another one. Now, don't call it a comeback, but we doing Anchor again, too. Podcasting back in full of motherfucking fact. Y'all already know what it is. Now, if y'all don't know what day it is, I'm going to tell you what day it is. It's January 6, 2022. And last year, the country's capital had a protest happen. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's keep it 100. Because if we compare the Capitol protest to the protests that were led the entire year before then, the Capitol was nothing but a walk in the park, except for Ashley Babbitt's death, which that's just tragic and fucked up. There is no reason for that. And I've heard a lot of excuses. Oh, she could have did this, or she had that, or this, or that, or this, or that. I think this is what the left would say. There was a trigger-happy cop looking to kill someone that day. That's what it looked like. I'm a dick. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to bring the same energy that they brought for over 100 nights in Oregon. For over fucking 2.5 weeks in Minneapolis. They burnt down how many buildings? They attacked how many police precincts? How many government buildings? How many post office were burnt down? How many pharmacies were robbed and burnt the fuck down? Come on now, don't talk about they went after the Capitol. Oh, did they? And they can say, oh, they was trying to overthrow the election. The election was so fair. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The Democrats had 4 years to plan on how they were going to beat Trump, how they were going to stop Trump from winning again by any means necessary. So they opened up every other possible way to vote, except for in person. And then, God forbid, if anybody on the Republican side of the aisle spoke up about it, they were automatically something fucking specially stupid. You know what I mean? And here we sit. Now, I say it like that because I got CNN on right now. It's hard to have it on. And it says January 6th committee leaders give an update on the investigation. I believe you got Liz Cheney sitting there. She's a fucking rhino. I don't believe nothing she got to say. Nothing. No way, no how. She is the definition of a grifter baby. Not a grifter baby. She's just a grifter. You know what I mean? Let's keep it a buck. And there's a lot of grifting going on around right now. There's a lot of grifting. And it's almost disgusting to see how much grifting is actually taking place. Now, that's another episode that's going to be coming up. Because there's a lot of grifters doing a lot of shit they shouldn't be doing. There's a lot of grifters that are getting movements they shouldn't be getting. Let's keep it a buck. And I love to see how grifters say one thing and then do something else. I love to see how grifters sell you oceanfront property in the middle of motherfucking Iowa. I love how grifters can sell these assholes the Brooklyn Bridge and they don't own that shit. But yet they don't want to talk about that. And we got countless articles today. I'm not shitting you. Countless articles. You know, I use the app Smart News, and it really does come with a lot. You know what I mean? Now, Dick Cheney, once a villain to Democrats, hailed in surprise Capitol visit to mark January 6th. Okay. Whoopi Goldberg stunned by testing positive for COVID. I've done everything I was supposed to. Oh my God. Nancy Pelosi's cringe-inducing use of Hamilton at January 6th event unites Americans against her. Of course, no one likes Pelosi. Pelosi's literally a walking demon. AOC's bizarre defense of Florida vacation highlights left's hypocrisy. Of course it does. Seattle area prosecutor defends light on crime approach for teens wielding guns at school. Really? Really now? Why black-owned businesses aren't as successful as white-owned businesses. Biden, Democrats require Venmo, PayPal, others to report 600 or more payments to the IRS. Ooh, y'all about to get big mad about that bullshit. Now, because this popped up again, this is Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg and the entire cast of The View have all, and I'm talking this cast, the previous cast, and a couple people before that have all had a view, all had a piss poor view when it comes to what happened on January 6th. They'll say it was insurrection. It was terrorists. Crazy. You know, and this is funny to me too, because I had said I'm watching CNN right now. CNN is, you know, they're going to say they're the bastion of honesty, you know, rah, 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 bullshit. But if Liz Cheney really, really backed Republicans and stood for what conservatives stand for, I don't think she would be on their channel. Now, Cheney's speaking on what it means if the GOP, if Trump runs again. Trump probably will run again. And I think the further they go down this aisle, the further they go down this January 6th witch hunt. Because today, Adam Kinzinger was on Fox News with Neil Cavuto, which I just don't understand why Adam Kinzinger was on Neil Cavuto. You know, we're going to look him up real quick. Adam Kinzinger. I think that's how you spell his name. Okay, so 6 member of Congress does protection from the DOJ. Oh, okay, here we go. Yep, this is during the day. Now, this is from Fox News. Adam Kinzinger rips Trump, has no regrets standing alone with Liz Cheney. Now, Adam Kinzinger, Ben Sass, and countless other rhinos like Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, even in some senses like Ted Cruz, because Ted Cruz called that shit insurrection, and Tucker Carlson had to get on his ass about it. There is a lot of bullshit when you think of what happened on January 6th. There's a lot of things at play there. And Adam Kinzinger decided he was going to lay that all at Trump's feet. And, you know, Trump did this, Trump watched that, Trump did, Trump. We know. All we've proven, all that's been proven over the last couple of years when it comes to Trump is these assholes really don't know what they're talking about. They don't. They clearly do not understand what the fuck they're talking about. And I say it like that because, as I said, no, I didn't say actually. There was, maybe I did. Did I? I don't know. I'm below and back, you know, a fat sack. Anyways, do y'all remember watching the videos that day on January 6th where the police were moving the railing so people could get in? Y'all remember that? I do. I remember seeing the cops let people walk just right on past. Boom, done. I remember seeing that. And I also remember seeing, this is the real funny one. I remember seeing cops at the Capitol just let people walk past, do what they're going to do. And then I remember seeing in Minneapolis as pawn shops in Lake Street was up in fucking flames. I remember seeing cops in the fire department watching all the shit hit the fan. Now, like I said last year, January 6th at no time was worse than any day under the 2020 riots. Now, people can say, there was 15,000 protests. There's only 500 violent ones. The 500 violent ones are the one I'm talking about. The peaceful ones, I ain't got a problem with them. Do what you go and do. But the minute it turns violent, you now become part of that motherfucking statistic. Fuck you, Captain Gaslight. Just saying. Now, Kinzinger said, it pains me because Kevin and I used to be friends. He said, your world on January 1. January 1st, I was on a conference call with Kevin. I said, Kevin, I fear that's going to be violence on the 6th because you convince people an election is stolen. If you believe that, the violence is a logical outcome from that. McCarthy said, operator, next caller, since January 6th, gave him a speech saying Trump bears responsibility. 2 weeks later, he was at Mar-a-Lago. In that intervening time, there was a lot of silence in Republicans' ranks about where we were going to go. Now, Adam Kinzinger was never right. For the last few years, he wasn't rocking with Trump. That's why he's a fucking grifter. He just used Trump's name. Now, I'm not saying he can't be a Republican, but he's an Illinois Republican for sure. You know, and that's as harsh as I guess I can say, because he's not a real Republican. He's not. I'm not saying that you have to back Trump and that makes you a real Republican. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if you go after Trump 9 times out of 10 just to go after him, I think you're just grifting because it's a good stance. Like Adam Kinzinger said, I'll be an island. I'll take arrows because I'm going to be the one that lives in truth. But see, there's a lot of speculations around January 6th. A lot. Like the people that were arrested, the 700 plus people, how many of them are saying they're being treated inhumanely? Marjorie Taylor Greene's been talking about it for how long, and they banned her off Twitter because of COVID misinformation. You've had multiple people talk about it. Luke Gronkowski. You've had no, not Gronkowski. Is that his last name? The one that's on Timcast. I don't want to fuck his last name up. Luke. You had Luke talk about it. I know you've had Steven Crowder talk about it. You've got people that have talked about this, you know what I mean? And then you have people that burnt buildings down, looted, robbed, whatever the fuck they were gonna do, and they got released without bail 3-4 times. There's one dude. It's a dude. They can say, oh, you dead named me. I don't give a fuck. You're a dude. Welcome to the real world, sugar. Now, anyways, dude out in Oregon or Washington, one of the two lefty fucking states, got arrested once, twice, 3 times in a matter of, I'd say, like 20 days, 30 days, right? This motherfucker didn't have to pay bail one time to get out. And this motherfucker was in trouble for fucking with the feds, fucking with the police, fighting against the feds, fighting against the police. He got community service, 30 hours, and they dropped the charges. What about the people that jumped through a broken window at the Capitol? You got them motherfuckers acting like they straight up terrorists. That's crazy, bro. And when Kinzinger says, you know, there's the violence, that goes back to one of my last episodes I dropped about violence being upon the government. That think about that. People act as if the government is untouchable, right? Maybe in China the government is untouchable. Maybe in Laos, maybe in Vietnam, maybe one of these communist socialist countries like fucking, I don't know, Russia maybe? Maybe the government really is kind of untouchable. But here in America, that shit's elected. You're elected by the people for the people. And when you're no longer working to better the people, maybe you should step the fuck out of office. But see, we have so many grifters. We have so many people in office, so many rhinos, so many dinos, so many independents that ain't really independent, so many centrists that ain't really centrist. And then we have a lot of socialists and democratic socialists or whatever they want to call themselves that really are just being the assholes that were born to be. But then all the grifters in between are there just to make money. Adam Kinzinger shined a light on a lot of it. There's a lot of the people that just, you know, it's always a campaign season for somebody. It's always an election season for somebody. So maybe you gotta, just shut up and, hopefully you can just skate through. Well, you know what? I think the American people are waking up to a lot of that. And that's why a lot of these Congress people are getting, I guess the easiest way, that's the reason they're getting protested the way they are. Let's keep it a buck. One of the biggest differences is Adam Kinzinger said on January 6th, he felt afraid. He was afraid there could be violence. He was afraid he could get hurt. Okay, I guess there's some truth to that. I don't think anybody went there that day to specifically target anybody. I know AOC and they say, there was bombs, but there was really no proof that there was bombs, but they don't want to talk about that. But my point here is, you have how many people that showed up to the Capitol that day? They could have laid waste to that fucking building if they wanted to. Laid waste to whoever they wanted to in that building. So when I think of, they were scared. One of the Congress people said they picked up a hand sanitizer station, was about to swing that motherfucker. There was cops obviously inside of the Capitol because a cop is the one that shot Ashley Babbitt. But what I'm really getting to here is, during the 2020 protests, if there was a media outlet, a media spokesperson, an anchor that spoke out against Antifa or Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd protests, Jacob Blake, so on and so forth protests, their houses were protested against. There was everyday average citizens having their houses protested against because of a sign they had in their yard. That's how wild these collectively mobs were. But they don't want to talk about that, though. No. That wasn't an attack on the government. The dude that threw Molotov cocktails at the ICE building out in Washington, nah, man, that wasn't a federal building. The building that Antifa literally keeps knocking over every other week, I don't know if it's a government building in Oregon. I don't know if it's not a police station, but they fucked up a police station in Seattle. Sure, they fucked up a couple in Portland. But point here is they keep attacking the same building, starting fires in it, locking the doors, this, that, the other, right? Starting it on fire. Is that not a government building? Or does it only matter if there's Congress people involved or senators involved? And they can always bring it back. Oh, the election, Trump said the election was stolen. He said it was stolen. There is more than enough evidence to raise multiple red flags across pretty much any dynamic. But let's keep it a buck. Any situation, there's more than enough red flags that are going to pop right up for you. And motherfuckers act clueless to that. Oh, that don't matter, bro. It doesn't matter that dead people were voting. It doesn't matter that people mailed in their vote the next day. It doesn't matter that people, didn't follow by the exact rules of the voting base. The voting rules, they just, they sent it in when it was good for them. Or, the voting harvesting that we know happens every election cycle. We didn't care about that either. Oh, and then all of the mistakes that happened during the night of the election, because Trump was stomping the fuck out of Biden. And then all of a sudden at 3 a.m., Biden was winning, Nah. None of that raises a red flag. And I know I'm being an ass. I know full well what I'm doing. But that's because the conversation has been talked about and brought up so many times. You got people dodging it and acting like it didn't exist. It didn't happen. And I understand the left hates Fox News. I understand that the left hates this, that, that thing. I get it. I understand there's a lot of right-wing people that hate Fox News because they don't align with what they want to be because they're not really the right-wing conservatives. Crazy. It's just fucking crazy. And it's almost disheartening to say because it's supposed to be America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. We're supposed to be united, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But where the fuck is any of that? Where the fuck is any of that? When I think about that, the Mayo Clinic just released, I think they said 200 or 700 employees that did not want to get the shot. They had till Monday to either come up with one of the exemptions or get their first shot. See, that shit's wild. Now they can say, the healthcare industry should have to have it. Rah, rah, rah. Well, maybe, what? Maybe the Mayo Clinic is doing the medical world service here and letting these people go. Maybe they can do great things away from that clinic and let light shine on what they doing. You know what I mean? But when I think about the government and I think about January 6th and I think about all the shit that we as Americans have endured over the last 5 years, in Trump, under Trump, all the hatred, all the Russia hoax, this hoax, that hoax, fuck him this way, fuck him that way, this, that, the other thing, all that wrapped into one bullshit little bubble. And then you got fucking the rioting that just took, in my eyes, took so much love and so much trust in camaraderie out of every neighborhood. I took it right out of it. How did it not create more division? Because if I said the looting was wrong, I was the problem. If I said killing somebody was wrong, I was the problem. If I said that George Floyd should have complied, I was the problem. You know what I mean? Like, but we supposed to be raised to accept responsibility for our actions, right? Right? So that's where I also think, like, we have all these people talking about social consequences and all this shit, right? You can say the N-word, but then if somebody busts you in your jaw, social consequence. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that's what I mean. So when we have AOC and the likes of the Squad, Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, Nadler, Cheney, Kinzinger, Sass, Romney, the list goes on and on and on and on, writing books about them, talking mad shit about them, starting nothing but impeachments about them. How did they not think division was going to go any which way? How did they think that all their choices, all their decisions, all their electoral power that they abused and used was not going to come back to haunt them one way? You know what I mean? Like, I understand that, yo, man, they was rioting. That shit was crazy. Motherfuckers could have got hurt. I get all that. I'm not saying that that's not the truth. I'm not saying that couldn't have happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. But what I am saying is the government is not innocent in the motherfucking least when it comes to January 6th. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the radical left is not at all innocent when it comes to January 6th, 2021. They are not. It is 1 year later and they are talking about this. This January 6th was brought up every few fucking months. They made sure to keep that shit in the news cycle. But they're going to talk about this till we're 50. Like I said, you have Kamala Harris and other assholes trying to make it sound like this was worse than Pearl Harbor. It was worse than 9/11. That is the most disingenuous bullshit I've ever heard in my life. And I don't know how anybody could think that that person is a good person in any sense of the motherfucking word. But yet here we sit. Now, I'm always going to talk my shit. But today is January 6, 2022. In the United States is even more divided than it was a year ago. Over so much more now than it was a year ago. And those elected officials that continually bring up January 6th and mislabel it as often as they can and spread nothing but misinformation when it comes about January 6th are not innocent at all when it comes to January 6th. They just need to talk about it to keep it in the limelight so everybody else can hear, war sob story. I don't care. And guess what? Most of America doesn't give a fuck. Because those same government agents, those same government officials, those same elected assholes aren't going to come save you. They're not going to come save me. And they don't give a fuck if me or you die. Let's keep it 1 motherfucking 100. And I know, man, you really believe that, Petrov? Hell yeah, I believe that. Right, left, center. It's the government, baby. I don't think they're going to save me, you, or the next guy if they don't have to. And believe this, if the world was coming to a fucking end, they ain't got a chair safe for me or you, but they got a chair safe for them. And that's fucked up. But yet, we have people on both sides of the aisle that continually bring up January 6th and refuse to bring up the summer of 2020. And that in its own right is extremely disingenuous. And to call one thing an insurrection when government buildings have been hit, burnt down, burnt down, burnt down, hit over and over again, and you don't call that anything other than it could be a peaceful protest, I got nothing for you. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to talk my shit. I'm going to have to expose these bastards for what they are. And that's a grifting class of motherfuckers that just want to keep more power and more money in their motherfucking pockets. And that's why the people like me and you have to talk about this and let everybody and their mama know that these assholes do not have our best interest at heart, and they never have. And on that note, you guys already know what it is. Stay blazed, stay blessed, and stay safe, and keep fighting the good fight against the radical left in every movement that stems from those crazy bitches.